Welcome back, and for this trip we're in Salzburg in Austria. We're spending 4 nights, 5 days here with a jam-packed itinerary. We're going to be looking around the historical town centre and also off to Hallstatt, which is about a 2-hour bus ride from the main city. So follow us and we'll show you around. Salzburg is a small little city, and upon arriving at the airport and passing through customs, it was a pretty easy process and non-eventful. We decided to take one of the numerous taxis available outside the airport, from the airport and to the hotel itself. You can also download the Free Now app, which lets you book taxis beforehand, but be aware that this is only available for up to 4 passengers. We couldn't find any options for larger taxis. Because we arrived quite late on the landing day, we decided to basically wait till the day after, which is what you see now, before we started to walk around the city. I found the best app to use for this was Google Maps, where before the holiday I already pinned all the places that I wanted to see, and Google Maps was a must-have to show you the directions, as well as using public transport or which buses to take and when they would arrive. The old main town is quite densely packed, but with the beautiful old architecture everywhere, you can't help but stop and take pictures everywhere you go. Everywhere you walk as well, you find all these little side passages to the left and to the right of yourself that are full of like shops and other restaurants. So you can walk around, take your time, and explore these little hidden treasures. We like to use the old market here, which is situated in the middle. This was built in 1280. And there's a number of other attractions sprouting out from it. Here you also find the Cafe Tomaselli. This is one of the oldest cafes in the world and is UNESCO listed. It's also one of Mozart's favourite cafes. Coming off the old market, you also find the water soil. This was built in 1888. This is made of cast iron and it's built as a weather house where you can use it to tell you what the weather will be like. Here you also find the 16th century residence square, centering on the baroque fountain used for music and sporting events. The residence fountain is considered one of the most beautiful fountains in the city of Salzburg and certainly deserves a closer look.
4 horses seem to spring forth from the spouting rock. Giants rooted in the rock carry the lower basin, in which 3 dolphins balance the upper basin. The upper basin holds a triton, a jet of water shooting into the air from its conch-shell trumpet. Mozartplatz. This is a large courtyard and is best known for its memorial statue of composer Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
You'd also probably want to have a look at TripAdvisor or something equivalent to find out where you want to go, where you want to shop and where you want to eat. And have a look at the reviews as well beforehand, as with most of these tourist places, there's always those tourist traps that get you. Just before heading up to the funicular, we visited the Friend of St. Peter. There's a picturesque cemetery with baroque tombs of nobility as well as 12th century catacombs and chapels. You may recognize some of it from the movie Sound of Music, where they took inspiration from this and included it as part of the movie. Here you also find the Goldene Kugel, built in 2007 in the centre of medieval Salzburg. Is a huge golden ball with a full-length figure of a man standing on it. Next is the Festernbahn. That's the funicular railway, built in 1892, that provides access from the bottom of the fortress to the top of the fortress. Depending on when you arrive, there may be a bit of a wait time, but the journey itself is only a couple of minutes long. It's pretty quick, so if you want to take photos or videos, then you're gonna have to be fast. There is an alternative to this, but you're gonna have to climb a lot of stairs to get up to the fortress itself. The fortress itself was built in 1077, the 11th century, and is a complex on top of a hilltop with views over the city to the Alps, plus museums. It's an extremely well-preserved castle in Salzburg, Austria, and is one of the largest remaining medieval fortresses in Central Europe. A couple of facts about the fortress: it sits at an altitude of 500 meters. The original purpose of the fortress was to protect the principality from hostile attacks. Also, the fortress has never been captured by enemies. And over time and history, the fortress has gradually expanded from different types of uses. In World War I, it was used as a prison, and now, since it's become abandoned by the military as a restricted area in 1892, it's turned into a tourist attraction that attracts millions of people a year. On certain days as well, I think this was Thursday, you would find loads of markets that are set up around the city. Here you find loads of local delicacies, loads of fresh vegetables and meat products as well. So you can have a good wander around, which is quite cool.
The day trip to Hallstatt. In Hallstatt, on the way there, it took about 2 hours and we saw many mountains. We saw a lot of lakes that were quite blue because of the limestone that was underneath the lakes, and we had a very good tour guide which told us lots and lots of facts about the place.
Welcome to Hallstatt. We took a bus tour from Salzburg, the main city. There's about a 1 hour bus ride, and it takes us all the way to Hallstatt, which is like a small village on the lake. Here you can see all the beautiful picturesque buildings with the lake and the mountains as a backdrop. Yeah, we'll show you around, show some pictures.
Nearby in a mountain, there is an ice cave where the final scenes of Sound of Music were shot. You should plan your day trip there and make time for the oldest salt mine in history. In China, there is a complete replica of Hallstatt. As the Chinese loved it so much, they made a replica.
In Hallstatt as well, what you find is a lot of the houses are layered on top of each other, so you can find one occupancy being built upon with another. So a lot of them are close proximity, but they're all very uniquely designed and kind of colored as well, which makes them really attractive and photogenic. What's also beautiful this time of year is all the balconies in Salzburg, and on the way from Salzburg to Hallstatt, people had flowers out, and this makes the whole area very beautiful and picture perfect. Also with Hallstatt, there's lots of little alleys that you can explore, but be sure not to wander into someone else's house. But you can find these little hidden areas where you can go up and get a good view and vantage point across the whole town, the lake and the mountains, where you can take loads of videos and pictures as well. I like how the area is touristy, but not too touristy. For example, at the lakes, they've got little boating that you can rent, but they didn't put so much of it that the whole lake is full of boats. Now back in Salzburg, we're at the Mirabell Palace, which was built in about 1606. You'll probably recognize this from The Sound of Music, where Maria and the children sing Do Re Mi as they dance around the Pegasus fountain in front of the palace. The Trapp family also stands on the steps in front of the Rose Hill at the end scene and sings the song's final bars. Also from the garden you can look across it and you can also see the fortress in the background. Also, like in Austria, we did attend a concert here which took place late that evening at about 7 o'clock. It had about 150 people and it lasted about 2 hours, and I can't show any clips because we couldn't actually film at that time, but it was very beautifully laid out and the music was soothing. I'd recommend getting your tickets beforehand, but also getting one of the numbered seats so you can sit together. Hellbrunn Palace was one of the last places we visited. We took one of the buses that were available right outside our hotel and it went straight there in about 30 minutes. You can book tickets beforehand, but we didn't, and we just turned up and it was fine, we could get straight in. This palace was more for a bit of fun, with quirky kind of architecture and statues and lots of different unexpected kind of surprises along the way. I won't give away too much as I don't want to spoil your visit if you ever visit here. They provide a good audio commentary devices provided for everyone in multiple languages which you can use, and it was very helpful because it gives you a lot of historical insights into what you're seeing and what you're experiencing. Be warned that when you come to either have something to eat beforehand or bring lots of water with you, because there isn't a lot of places where you can buy stuff to eat and drink. There is a restaurant here that we did try out, but it wasn't great, so I'd probably recommend eating beforehand. There is a large garden area where you can explore, separate from the house itself. There's gardens and there's also a kids play area that includes a zip line. Also, don't forget to check out the Sound of Music Pavilion. You can't go inside, but you can take lots of pictures on the outside. It's well preserved. The house itself is worth exploring. There's lots of exhibitions itself on the inside, and it takes about 30 minutes or so to walk around and explore everything. From the house itself, you can go to a higher vantage point and have a good look across the whole estate. Here's the Sound of Music Pavilion, kept locked up, so it's better to take pictures of an empty pavilion than a pavilion full of tourists. Thanks for watching our video. I hope you enjoyed seeing Salzburg and Hallstatt in Austria, and I'll catch you in our next adventure.